Alrighty, guys. It is 3:30 this Thursday, November 13th, and man, do we have a risk-off day on our hands. I thought we were going to have a shot at holding on to the gains. It actually felt that way now when the government shutdown was over, but man, did I get that wrong. So market did not cooperate today at all. So we were up here in this upper area this morning looking to buy weakness. And as it took out key support, we just had to just shift our bias back on the short side. We reverse reached at 6,800. They've taken it out. They're down here at that ledge now at 6750s. And I'm not sure they're done. It looks like a pretty good risk off day. So this may be the start of a little bit of a correction, given where we are. So let's kind of take everything here with a big grain of salt and stay on the short side of this, at least for now. Early on this morning, as I said, we were looking at this support there at 6850 down to the 60, 50, and 30s. This is what the support areas we were looking to buy against. Did not work. They took it out early on, and at that point, we should have stayed on the short side of this. Range bound to get started, but short side below 6,800, I believe I said. And you can see here how that 6,800 right now has been reverse retested a few times and not been able to make it up above it. That's still looking at those single prints, not been able to be retraced. So we'll see how the whole thing is going to close, but pretty good move to the downside, and not much to say about it. Then just stay on the short side of this. We are way down here in that lower area right now, and I would just start on the short side and see how far they want to take this. And we may see. I took 2 trades on the ES this morning. I had one trade earlier on. That was that little buy here at the first support area. It didn't go anywhere. I kind of got just shaken out of that trade. I did try one more trade here later on, and that was after that big rundown. He got into that 2 o'clock hours, and it felt very much that it was going into that 2 o'clock hour big rotation to the downside, and I got the short off here on the first retrace on one of these retracements. I had to fade a little bit of heat, and I was sitting in. I had my stop outside pretty tight, and it was going back and forth here for a while. I tried to get out here when they were down here at the lower end of the range. And by the time I click in the order, it moved, and I got in a little bit too high and basically filled me on it. So I kind of like gave up 750 on that trade, but it's fine. It's what happens when when the market is moving quickly. Well, that was a scratch. So I'm down 250 on the Nasdaq, so on the ES for these two contracts, and have not engaged the ES since. But basically, you can see the short would have worked for a little bit, and then would have been shaken out anyway. Now, so stay on the short side, look to sell strength. If they can get up here above that there, you see this ledge here at the 6780s, can get up above that. At least we'll get back in this upper range again. But as long as they stay below that area, I would stay on the short side. So looking to sell strength against 6760s, 70s, up to that 80s for rotations back down. And but above it, that would be range bound. And if we can get up above 6810, 68 to 6810, I may be even considering the long side. But at this point, I think all this weakness is probably going to spill over into tomorrow. So still looking for short pressure going into tomorrow. Good opportunities to buy some of these stocks, which they are on sale now. Given that rate crazy, I mean, you see some of these AI stocks are actually getting massively creamed. So yeah, big risk off day. All these fluffy valuations are getting kind of taken down to earth. On the bond market, I haven't traded the bonds, but we started off range bound. They're going to buy weakness down to that 1704 or down to the 1620. Oh no, down to the 1704s. I think we said below that 04s, we were looking for a short trade lower. Hasn't really headed lower, just been kind of grinding down a tick at a time. So kind of slow more action on the bonds. One nice retest failure here at the 2 o'clock hour. If you were patient enough to sit through it, but I did not try to trade a bond today. Nasdaq, I did a few trades. I had one trade here, short trade for a little bit. I tried a short trade here on the pullback for a small trade. I tried another trade here try to get long after this failure. Looked like they looked like almost a double retest failure going on here. Tried a long trade, had to repair it, and then got out pretty quick when it didn't work. It would have worked pretty good if I held on, but you know, it's so volatile. So it's just you don't need much for them to just run you out of the market. So it just it's kind of unnerving. So I have 3 trades, 4 contracts. I'm up $50 on the Nasdaq. So I kind of left it at that. Didn't try to push my luck today. But see, so you get in one wrong trade, you give it all back, and then you're just kind of struggling. So I got lucky in that trade, and I'll take it. So that's kind of what goes on. But I was thinking long side of the market, but I wasn't going to be, if they ran the stops below the obvious, I would have been just in a big loser. So it could go either which way. Just had to be aware of that. But right now it looks like support held at the 25,000. So you see one attempt to take it lower, that's in a rotation down. So as long as we have a pretty good reverse retest at the 25,100. If they can hold that, we'll stay on the short side. I'm probably going to stay on the short side all the way up to, they had to kind of get up to that DEF, this area right there, the 25,250s. If they can get up above that area, I'll be taking off the short buy. So I will look for short against that ledge. The 120s, the 150s, the 180s. And that would be pretty much what I would do. Above that 250 area, I would take off the short bias and go back range bound, looking for a retracement trade at that point. It is pretty gnarly. So risk off kind of a day, expected to spill into tomorrow, most likely. If we get a big retracement day tomorrow, I would be happy, but I'm not going to count on that. I'm going to think short out of the market still. There's a big rotation going on in the market. So some of these tech stocks are getting absolutely sold and rotated into something else. Oops. Oil and gold. So gold, big move to the downside late in the session. I wanted right at the close, the big sell-off there. And they came out of nowhere. Nothing I would be trading anyway. So overall, just a range bound market. And then that last little rotation kind of kicked in. But they took out the session low, and you can see how violent they retraced it, reverse retesting this low right now at the 4150 area. Now watch that level, the 4150s, that comes out in the overnight. Look for a run down right here into the 4130s. Otherwise, I would look to buy against that 4150 level for rotations back up again. We have a pretty good edge, a little bit higher than I thought at 4174. Look for short setups against that one if it comes out. Look for a retracement trade right back up here to that 4190s. So those are the dynamics on gold I'm seeing going into the overnight. And then finally, oil not going anywhere. It's soon to roll into the January contract. So range bound oil, nothing to say about that. Look, watch them if they're going to get up above that 59.30. Then we're going to be looking for a retracement trade. Otherwise, I look for short setups against that 59 level and the 59.30s for rotations back down again. All right, back to the ES, and so far, yeah, maybe a little bit of retracement. We'll see. Getting into that last half hour, we're going to get the bargain hunt into the close. That would be good. That if we get a strong close, that would mean that there's some bargain hunting going on the sell-off. In other words, the weakness is getting bought, and that's a good sign. But at this point, here's the ES. So if we get a nice rally up here into this a little bit higher, that's a good sign that things are getting bought, and then we have a shot at some strength. And when that doesn't happen, they close at the lows. That's when you know that there's more weakness to come. But we'll see. I'm still going to stay on the short side going into tomorrow's trading. All right, guys. So far, 2 trades on the ES down to 50, 3 trades on the NASDAQ up 51, and that's about it for me today. All right, guys, we'll leave it there. I'll see you back bright and early in the morning, Friday. Let's see how things go. Wrap up the week. Ready, guys. See you tomorrow morning. Later.